High stakes, heart-pounding moments, pressure like you wouldn't believe, almost flops, and moments that I will always remember. This is the Nick Solomon Show, the Sports Chatter Podcast. Let's get it started.
Spence to scores! Watford for the win! You can't make this stuff up, folks. God, that old young guy really take back and look at what this man has done.
Hey guys, and welcome to episode 13 of the Nick Solomon Show, the Sports Chatter Podcast. And I am glad to be back. The last couple weeks I've been kind of under the weather, plus with a lot of work obligations. I wasn't able to send out on my normal sort of routine schedule here every 2 weeks, but we were back. And sort of back just in time too, because it is March. What comes with March? March Madness. And that kind of just gives you the premise of what this episode will be about. I'm counting down my top 5 favorite March Madness moments. Now with that, there's been many March Madness moments since its conception. And that's too many to sort of dive through and sort of pick ones that I kind of like. So I'm going to narrow this down a little bit, actually a lot. So these are my top 5 favorite moments from the past 13 years of seeing March Madness and everything with that. So we're just going to kick it right off here with my number 5 all-time favorite moment. And that is from the 2016 tournament. University of Northern Iowa beating Texas in the first round. So a couple background information on that matchup before I show you guys the play. The 11th seed University of Northern Iowa Panthers knocked off the 6th seed Texas Longhorns. You and I came in to that tournament 22-12, winners of the Missouri Valley Conference. That year they had beaten, this was early in the year, the number 1 seed North Carolina, the 5th seed Iowa State, and the number 25 seed Wichita State. That was during the regular season. And then they went on to the Missouri Valley Conference and won that. But even with those 3 ranked opponent wins, that still got them the 11th seed. You find that pretty common in outside conferences outside of the Power 5. On the other side, Texas as a 6th seed came into that year 20-12, and they lost in the second round in the Big 12 tournament. But they were pretty big favorites, though, coming into this game. That year, Texas had 6 top 25 ranked wins that year. 6. So, with further ado, watch this play.
This is the second. Texas will have a chance to tie or win it with the 3. Taylor attacks, floats, even at 72. 2.7 left. Last chance for the Panthers.
And he said he wouldn't take a timeout in this situation.
Jesperson, half-court heave for the win. Jesperson knows it. Northern Iowa wins it at the buzzer. 75.
Paul Jesperson probably lives on in Northern Iowa lore. I mean, he hits a half-court shot, and not just a half-court shot, but a half-court shot kind of off of one leg. Absolutely incredible. Insane way to kick off that year, especially since it happened in the first round. So that was a sign of things to come in the 2016 tournament. More on that to come. Next, we're just going to move on to my number 4 all-time favorite moment. Trey Burke sends University of Michigan to overtime versus the Kansas Jayhawks in the 2013 Elite 8. So as just said, number 4 seed Michigan knocked off the 1 seed Kansas. Trey Burke heroics. That's all you need to say. The dude had 23 points, all coming in the second half, not including overtime. His shot, in which we'll see in a moment here, his shot sent it to overtime in one of the most incredible clutch plays. Watch this.
1-1, so a lot of pressure here on this first one. And goes too strong. 3-point game. Hart pulls it down. 5 seconds. Fires for 3. Oh, the game is tied. He's tied it.
A 30-foot bomb. Absolute bomb by Trey Burke. Yeah, I am not a big Michigan basketball fan. Okay, it's been established. Absolutely insanely big Michigan football fan. But basketball is a different story. That year, Michigan had an absolutely great season. Coming into the tournament, I had to attach myself to this one team because IU wasn't in it that year. So I attached myself to Michigan. And that year they made it all the way to the Final Four. Still think they could have won that year because they actually advanced to the championship game, not just the Final Four. But that was an incredible one by Michigan that year. But Trey Burke's heroics, that shot over Kansas to beat the number 1 seed Kansas, absolutely will live on in my mind. But there's 3 more on top of them. So to get right into it, number 3, Kyle Guy. Clutch. So, what happened? In 2018, for the first time in NCAA March Madness history, a number 1 seed was upset by a 16 seed. That number 1 seed happened to be the Virginia Cavaliers, and the 16 seed happened to be UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. First time a 16 seed beat a number 1 seed. And they weren't just the number 1 seed, they were the number 1 overall seed. Fast forward 1 year later to 2018. Once again, Virginia became the number 1 seed. And they absolutely destroyed all of their opponents. It's one of the most ultimate redemptions because they ended up winning the championship that year. But on their way to the championship game, they ran into Auburn in the Final Four. Watch this.
Speed guy to go to the rim.
Got to hurry now. Shot from the corner goes down the one with 6.5. 11 for 11 from the line against Kentucky. How about this shot, though, to keep him in it?
His toughest shot all night. Kyle Guy knocking down that 3.
Desperation shot from the other corner.
Wow. 81%.
He's tied it.
Wow, this is unbelievable.
For the lead. He got all 3.
Onions. Absolute onions. Bill Rafferty couldn't have said it better. Just to make the 3-pointer, to keep yourself alive, first of all. And then to have Auburn miss their free throws on the other end, you immediately get fouled. 0.6 seconds left. 3 free throws, you're down 2. Tens of millions of people are viewing at home. I can't remember which arena this game was played in, but let's just say 18,000 people are staring at you. Probably more than that. Probably way more than that. You have to hit all 3 shots to win. 2-shot ties it, sends it to overtime, because there's 0.6 left on the clock. Steps up to the line, swishes all 3. 6 points in basically 6 seconds is what Kyle Guy did. Shout out because he's also an Indianapolis kid. Speaking of an Indianapolis kid, we're going to move on to our my number 2 all-time favorite March Madness moment. Georgia State beating Baylor in the 2015 first round. Not just Georgia State, but one player, R.J. Hunter. So Georgia State came into the 2015 NCAA tournament 24-9, winners of the Sun Belt Conference. Baylor was also 24-9, but they played 12 ranked opponents and won half of those games that year. That's why Baylor was ranked third. One of the most craziest shots and moments following the shots that you will ever see. Take a look at this.
Shipes the rebound. Got to push it to the basket. Take it to the basket, guys. 9 seconds.
No timeouts left.
What are they doing?
R.J. Hunter for three. Good! Ron Hunter has fallen off his stool for good reason. Georgia State up by 1. Baylor called its final timeout.
That is one of the most incredible things that I've seen. They were going nowhere. I was wondering if they were going to get a shot. And R.J. Hunter, I guess he came up big in the last 5 minutes here. What a shot.
Ron Hunter tipped over his stool after his son made a three to give Georgia State the...
Might have been a long replay, but as you could see, it was well worth it. Well worth it. Not only did R.J. Hunter knock in the three-pointer, he also knocked his dad off his stool in the process, too. It's one of the most craziest 1-2 moments that you see. It's first of all, it's fantastic that not only did he hit a shot that a 14th seed would then beat a 3 seed. Okay, that's a moment in itself. Not only did you hit the shot that would beat the 3 seed, but your coach fell off in the process. I mean, that's about as much living in the moment as you can get. But to add on another layer to this, the coach is the dude's dad. R.J. Hunter is the son of the head coach. So not only did he see his team advance, not only did he see one of his star players hit a buzzer beater that helped you advance, he just watched his son do all of that. That's a lot to weigh in if you're the coach, if you're Coach Hunter. But not only, R.J. Hunter is not only an Indianapolis kid, he also went to my high school too, so shout out Pike High School. All right, this is leading into my all-time favorite March Madness moment. All of these games, honestly, all of these games except the Georgia State and Baylor one and the UNI and Texas game. The other 3 I watched on TV. So the other 3 I watched live and saw these moments happen. So that is why this number 1 moment is number 1. You know, there could be other times, other March Madnesses that could top that. But right now, this is number 1. Chris Jenkins for the championship. In the 2016 National Championship game, you had the number 2 seed Villanova Wildcats versus the number 1 seed North Carolina Tar Heels. Now, what makes this play outstanding is that moments before, we thought we had another outstanding game-tying play. Marcus Page for the North Carolina Tar Heels, with about 5 seconds left, hit a three-pointer that tied the game, and in most instances, the game would have gone overtime. But this is March. Anything could happen. If there's 0.1 seconds on the clock, anything is possible. But there wasn't 0.1 seconds on the clock. It was 4.7 seconds left on the clock. Okay, so coming into this game, the road to the championship, okay, North Carolina had beaten a 16 seed, a 9 seed, a 5 seed, a 6 seed, and a 10 seed. Not the most impressive resume, but they handled these teams pretty well. Villanova, on the other hand, beat a 15 seed, a 7 seed, a 3 seed, a 1 seed, a 2 seed. And they handled them the same way. So what I'm getting at here is Villanova's resume coming into the championship game versus North Carolina's resume coming into the championship game was a lot better. But the game was close. It was exciting. It was back and forth from the tip-off to the very last play. And this is that very last play.
With Arcidiacono, 3 seconds at midcourt.
Jenkins
gives it to Jenkins for the championship. The national champions with Jenkins hitting the winner at the buzzer.
Jim, they're going to check it. I thought it was good live, but how about those onions? A counter. Double order, sauteed, if it's good.
Well, they're going to check the clock. If there's any time, and boy, they've got a problem on their hands if they do, because the streamers, the confetti, they would have to clear it. Watch this.
and the recognition of Arch finding Jenkins. Miscommunication by North Carolina.
It's all the way.
How about that?
The officials on the far side have already walked away now after seeing it. A national champion.
How about that? First of all, I don't feel bad if you're the North Carolina defense on that play. I mean, you're 4.7 seconds left. You're about to go to overtime of the national championship game. You really just can't allow any sort of basket. No foul, no 2-pointers, no 3-pointers. So you're naturally going to drift back towards the basket, because the closer you're to the basket, the easier the shot. That play was specifically drawn up for Ryan Arcidiacono to toss that ball back to Chris Jenkins. And the words after were just perfect. Jenkins, for the championship. That line will also just live rent-free in my head for forever. Just watch it one more time.
To the court with Arcidiacono. 3 seconds at midcourt.
Jenkins
gives it to Jenkins for the championship. The national champions with Jenkins hitting the winner at the buzzer.
Jim, they're going to check it. I thought it was good live.
It will never get old. And neither will March Madness. I am absolutely excited for this year's March Madness. In a couple weeks from now, we got to get through all the conference tournaments and in the regular season as well, and then the conference tournaments. And then we kick off March Madness in the middle of March. So we'll have one more video come out before March Madness starts. Just a little preview into that. We'll probably do our picks and everything. I mean, it's the month of March. You got to get into the theme here. Not much else is going on. You have spring training baseball. The Masters won't start for another month and a half. Hockey is full on in its season right now. Absolutely. We don't want to ignore hockey. But it's March. It's March. Thank you guys for watching episode 13. And I don't know what your favorite moments of March were, but these were my top 5, at least from the past 13 years. And I look forward to experiencing more great sport memories. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.